Hey guys, how y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the History of My Bookshelf challenge. So this challenge was created by Emma Books last year, and I've been dying to do it since she uploaded it. I just never got around to actually doing it, but here we are now and I'm so excited. So basically the entire premise of this challenge is there's a bunch of prompts that you have to follow to try to find a bunch of books on your shelf and they have like memories attached to them. So there's things like a book you read in this year and stuff like that. You guys will see as I go along, but I'm really excited to do this. So what Emma did is she actually timed herself picking out all of the books, and I wasn't going to do that, but now I think that I will do that just for funsies, you know, just to see how quickly I can actually get all of these books. I've got all the prompts on my phone right here. There's 26 prompts. I haven't looked too closely at them either, so I don't even know if I can get them all, but here's to hoping. Okay, so start. Okay. The first one is the oldest book on your shelf. Okay, I know you can't see me. It's fine. Okay, second prompt is a book you read in 2013. Oh shit. What did I read in 2013? That was before book 2. I have no idea. What did I read in 2013? Oh my god. Did I read this in 2013? I have no idea. And I don't even have Goodreads for 2013, so I can't even check. Shit, I'm just gonna go with this one. I don't know if this is right or not. A book you read in 2014. This is when I discovered BookTube. I'm gonna go with this because I think I read this in 2014. A book you read in 2015. I read Wonder in 2015. Okay. 2016. Fuck, what did I read in 2016? Yes, okay. I had to think about release dates for a second. Okay, 2017. Oh my. What did I read in 2017? I thought I'd be a lot better at this than I am. Ooh, did I read this in 2017? I did. Perfect. Okay. 2018. Okay, I read this in 2018. 2019, that was just last year. What's a book I read last year, Brittany? What did you read last year? I read this last year. Perfect. Okay. A book you've read more than once. That should be easy. Which one do I want to choose for this one? Let's do Dumplin. Okay. A book you waited over a year to be published. Why do I have no ideas for this one? A book I waited over a year to be published? Shit. I'm wasting time. Again, but better. A book you read on vacation or away from home. I read a lot of books away from home. Monday's not coming. A book you got from somewhere special. So anything that's not your local bookstore or online retailer. This should be easy because I buy books on vacation a lot. Ooh, okay. We got The Raven Boys. A book that made you cry. Second Chance Summer. A book you read in one sitting. They both die at the end. Oh my god, a book that was a gift. Princess and a Fangirl. A book you read before owning. Archived. A book you lent to someone else. This one. Okay. A book that has been damaged. Oh fuck, I was gonna use that one for a book that has been damaged. Okay, what's another book I lent out? Oh my god. I don't lend out books. What's another one that I've lent out? I don't want to grab that though because it's so hard to grab. Technically, okay, sure. So we're just gonna switcheroo those ones. A book you got on sale or discounted. I get lots of things on sale. Oh, Wayward Son. This one was like $20 on sale. A book you read with someone else, but I read or read with a book club. Oh, The Hate You Give. A book you associate with a song. Not this particular book, but we're just gonna go with the series. A book you associate with a food. I mean, sure. A book you got years ago that you probably wouldn't buy now. Sure. A book you associate with a specific time in your life. Sure. A book you used to like but don't anymore. Perfect. And the newest book on your shelf. Okay, we're gonna just do this one because I do have some new ones, but I haven't hauled them yet and I don't want to show you guys. So, there we go. Okay, I finished. Where's my stopwatch? I got that in 6 minutes. Whoa, Emma got it in like 10 minutes. I'm like really proud of myself. Let's talk about the books now. So, for the first one, it's the oldest book on your shelf, and that is Tender Loving Care by Anne Park. This is one of my mom's old romance books from 1983. So this is a really old book. She gave it to me when I was like 12 or something, but she owned it for a long time before that. So this is the oldest book on my shelf. So the next one is a book read in 2013. So I chose The Gathering by Kelly Armstrong for this. This is the first book in the Darkness Rising series, but I actually don't know if I read this in 2013, and I wasn't using Goodreads yet because I didn't know about Goodreads till 2014. I think I did read this in 2013. This is what makes the most sense to me. It was either like the tail end of 2012 or 2013, so we're just gonna accept it because I genuinely don't know what I read before BookTube. So then a book I read in 2014, I'm pretty sure it was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, because right when I found out about BookTube, I read a lot of books. I think this was 2014. Is it on my Goodreads? I have no idea. I wasn't very good at using Goodreads, so I'm not sure if I would would have put it in here. Yeah, I didn't add date read. But I'm gonna assume I read this in 2014 because that just seems like something that I would have done.
So I just found some pieces of paper where I used to write down every book I read in the year, so it was like my own personal Goodreads before I actually used Goodreads, and I did in fact read Fangirl in 2014, so we are good for that one.
So we're gonna go with this one for 2014. One of my favorite books of all time. Okay, then a book read in 2015, Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I picked a copy that doesn't have the dust jacket, so let me just grab one that does have the dust jacket on it. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I read this in 2015 for the very first time. It's one of my favorite books ever. Imagine if I read this in 2014. No, I had to have read it in 2015.
So from the same papers where I figured out that I read Fangirl in 2014, I also realized that I read Wonder in 2014, so good going on me for that one. So a book that I actually did read in 2015 was Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare.
I'm gonna trust myself here. So 2015, Wonder, this is my absolute favorite book of all time. It's been my favorite for the past 5 years. I love it a whole heck of a lot. And then a book read in 2016 is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This book came out in 2016 and I started it right when it came out, but I think I finished it at the end of the year, or like close to the end of the year.
The fact that I keep being so confident that I know when I read these books just proves how bad my memory actually is, because I did not read Akamath in 2016. I read it in 2017 because I just checked my Goodreads. I'm so mad at myself. So a book I did read in 2016 was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I'm baffled at myself right now, honestly.
But I just reread this book and it was so good. Read this in 2016 because that's when it was released. So then for a book you read in 2017, Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I was a little late to this one because I think it came out in 2015, but I'm pretty sure I didn't read it till 2017 because then Love, Simon came out the next year. We're just gonna go with it, but these are the hard questions and they shouldn't be. And then a book I read in 2018, this one I know for sure was 2018, and that is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. Again, one of my favorite books of all time. It deals with anxiety. And then a book I read in 2019 is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I read this for the very first time in September of 2019 because I was hosting a Schwab-September with a couple of my friends, and so I read this one. I adore this book. It's just so good. So then we have a book you've read more than once, and so for that one I chose Dumplin by Julie Murphy. I've read this 3 or 4 times. I'm not entirely sure how many, but I think it's about 4 times. This is again one of my favorite books of all time. Obviously if I've read it so many times, but I love this book a lot. I love the messages in it, I love the characters in it, I love the actual story of it, and that's why I've read it so many times, and I actually want to reread it soon, so love this. The next one is a book you waited over a year for it to be published. So for that I chose Again But Better by Christine Riccio, because before we even knew it was going to be published, I was like looking out for it because she was writing it and making writing videos about it, and I was anticipating it from the very first writing video she ever made. So definitely well over a year for this one. So then we have a book you read on vacation or away from home. So for that one I chose Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I actually read this on a road trip. We were going from like home to San Francisco we went to Disneyland, we went to Vegas, we went to Oregon. We went to a lot of different places on that road trip, but I read this on the way down to San Francisco, I think, and I absolutely adored it. But I had a really good time reading this. Well, not a good time because like, it's a really sad book, but I like this book a lot. So then a book you got from somewhere special, I chose The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater because I bought this when I was in New York last year when we went to Books of Wonder, which is my favorite bookstore that we went to. I loved it so much, and I loved it because it had so many signed books, so I bought a signed copy of The Raven Boys, and so whenever I look at this book I will always think of New York and Books of Wonder, and I'm really happy that I got it there. So then the next one is a book that made you cry. So for me that is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. This is another book I actually read on a road trip, but I have never cried so hard in my life than when I was reading this book. I sobbed. I was literally hysterical, okay? Tears constantly streaming down my face. I couldn't breathe. This book turned me into a whole hot ass mess, and I love it a lot, and I'm really scared to reread it because 1, I don't want to cry that hard again, and 2, what if I don't cry that hard again? And then it's just like, where do I go from here, you know? And then we have a book you read in one sitting. I've read a lot of books in one sitting, but this one I know for sure that I did, and it's They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is such a quick moving book, and I feel like definitely books that take place over one day are really, really quick to read. And this book broke my heart into a million pieces. I could not put it down. I needed to know how it was going to end, what was going to happen, how they were going to die. I needed to know. I devoured it, and I'm really scared to also reread this one day, but I had such a good time reading this book and being torn apart into a million pieces by Adam Silvera once again. And then we have a book that was a gift, so that is The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This was gifted to me by Julia, one of my best friends from a Reader's World. I think she gifted this to me because I was kind of sad. Yeah, so she says, Brittany, you deserve not only the whole world, but the whole universe. There is some light in the darkness, and you can get through it because you are the bravest person I know. I don't remember sure what I was going through. I know my grandpa had just died, so maybe that was why. I don't know, but she sent me this book, and I'm so grateful because it's such an amazing book, and I love it a lot, and it's so beautiful, and so I'm so grateful that she bought this for me. Thank you, Julia. The next one is a book you read before owning, so that is The Archived by Victoria Schwab. I read this from the library in 2015. It was actually featured in my very first video on my channel. It was a library book haul. And then Kirsten, this is actually another gift. Kirsten from Lost in the Thorns sent this to me. Still so grateful for this book and to have it, and I love it a lot. The next prompt is a book that you lent out to somebody. So for that I chose Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. I had a bit of a hard time with this one because I don't often lend my books out. Really the only people I lend books out to is my best friend Rochelle, because she literally lives up the street from me, like 6 houses away or something. Like, she's really close. So if she ever like has a book, I can like nag her for it and she's not too far away. Or my mom. I don't like lending books out. I don't like lending books out for a long period of time. I have separation anxiety from my books, okay? There was Wires and Nerve, which I lent out, but it's like stacked underneath all my Lunar Chronicle books and I didn't feel like grabbing it. But then I remembered Bloodlines I lent to my mom because she wanted to read it. There we go. I lent this out to my mom. And then the next prompt is a book that has been damaged, and so that is The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. This is my most damaged book. I originally picked this one out for the book you lent out to somebody because I lent this to my mom and also to my cousin, but then I was like, wait, I wanted to do it for the damage challenge because this is my most wrecked book. Can we just like look at how damaged this is? I refuse to read this copy now because I'm just scared it's gonna fall into a million pieces, but I love this book. Real damage. And this is just me being a 10-year-old not knowing how to hold the book open properly and it just turning into this. I also read it I think like 8 or 10 times, plus people borrowing it and whatnot, and then also I put it in my school bag, which always does a number on books. So, and then we have a book that you got on sale or discounted. So I got Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. I got this for $20 because sometimes what Chapters will do is they'll have new releases for cheaper when they first come out. So this one was at $20 when it was first released. I've gotten a lot of books on sale and discounted, and now I can think of all of them, but when I was picking them out I couldn't think of any. But this one I got for $20 instead of the normal $26.99. Whoa, I'm so glad I got that on sale. And then we have a book that you read with somebody else. So I chose The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Me, Peyton, and Julia all buddy read this together for the Jackathon when we did it in 2018, and I had such a good time. Really glad that I read it with them. It was such like a special experience for like the first readathon we were hosting together, and it was just a lot of fun. So the next one is a book you associate with a song. So it's not this specific book, but it's kind of a character within this series. But I chose Shatter Me by Tahada Mafi. So there's a song by Dean Lewis called Half a Man, and John actually pointed this out to me because we both love Dean Lewis and we both love Shatter Me, and he said Half a Man is basically Warner's song, and so I always, whenever I listen to Half a Man, I cannot help but think of Warner. And then we have a book you associate with a food, and again, it's not necessarily this specific book, but it's kind of like just running through the entire series, and that is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. So Laura Jean obviously is a huge baker in this series, so she bakes a lot of cookies, so I associate cookies with this series a lot. So a book you got ages ago that you probably wouldn't buy now, and so I chose Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. This is a high fantasy, so already there's a red flag there. That's not a genre I read a lot of. So it's a high fantasy, and also Peyton didn't like this book, and I feel like if Peyton didn't like a high fantasy book, then my chances of liking it are very low. I bought this so many years ago at Valley Village because I heard Reagan from Peru's Project talking about this book a lot, and so I thought I'd give it a try, and I have not read it. I think I've owned it since 2015, 2016, and I've never read it. I want to try to read it, but I definitely would not buy this now because I know my reading tastes a lot better now, and also my reading tastes have changed because I was more into high fantasy a little bit when I bought this, but this is definitely not something that I would be into purchasing now, and it's even something that I've considered unhauling. So then we have a book you associate with a specific time of your life. So for me, I chose The Reckoning by Kelly Armstrong, but like the whole series, the whole Darkest Powers series. But I read this from the library when I was like 12, and I associate with that time because I remember just reading it all the time. I remember getting it from the library. I got the 3rd book first and I read it, and then I realized it was a series, so I had to go back and read the first 2, and then I reread this one. And I also remember sitting in my classroom with my best friend Rochelle, and it was actually with my other copy of this book. I actually put a heart next to a character's name anytime it appeared because her name was Ray, and at that time we were nicknaming my friend Rochelle Ray because this character's full name was Rochelle, and so that's just kind of like something I associate with like being in like grade 6 and grade 7 and just reading this book and loving it and being obsessed with paranormal romance. So I definitely associate this with a specific time in my life. Then we have a book you used to like but don't anymore. So for that I chose Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. So I read this for the first time I think in 2014, and I absolutely adored it. I literally had such a hard time picking my favorite between this and Fangirl. Now it's not even like a competition. It's definitely fangirl. But this one I absolutely adored when I first read it. I thought it was the cutest thing ever. The ending tore me apart. But then I reread it back in 2018, I think, because I was just kind of curious. The audiobook was available on Overdrive, so I was like, I'll just listen to it. And I had heard a lot more mixed reviews for it since I had read it. Oh boy, this book is just one big oof. That's like the best way I can just like say how I feel about it. It's just a big oof. It has a lot of racism in it, which is just not good. There's just so many things wrong with this book and I no longer support it. Definitely don't like this. Will never reread it. It's not good. Then we have the newest book on your shelf. So I picked Love Creekwood by Becky Albertalli for this one because it's one of the newest ones that I've gotten. But I do have some new books that I've either purchased or gotten for my birthday that I don't want to show yet because I'm doing a whole birthday book haul soon. Once I have some books come in the mail, I didn't want to spoil that book haul. So we have Love Creekwood. I actually pre-ordered this back in April and it came out in June. I've already read it. I loved it. I tabbed it a lot. It's a wonderful book. Highly recommend if you love Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that was the history of my bookshelf challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am really dreading putting all these books back on my shelf, but that's fine. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you've not yet already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!